Shalom. First and foremost, I like to give all the honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles of the great millstone. Peace and blessing to all Akim that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and sincerity, and unto the men, women, and children that are listening and learning, and unto the Bayat Dawadah, the elect house of David that is scattered abroad. I give you my utmost and sincere salutations. All right. This lesson is about so-called black royalty in Europe. Okay. Talking about the so-called medieval ages, which really were the dark ages when the Israelites, mainly Jake, ruling all of Europe. So, and there was a book that I got off of Amazon called The Negro Rulers of Scotland and the British Isles. And here's a picture of the book. All right, by Dr. John L. Johnson. Okay, and the reason why I may do a series on this book, and Lord willing that Yahweh Shemesh, I put the spirit on me to do, stay diligent and do this to the best of my ability. So the reason why I'm doing this because it's just to go and expose more of Esau's lies and bring forth the truth. Okay, because we all know that through iconoclasm that this devil painted over the faces of the original judges, which were Israelites, people of color. So we're gonna go ahead and get started with and you could also look up Salakia, give me a second. You can also look at and this was during the time of the Renaissance period, and you could also look up the Voronet Monastery, and you could also look up, like I said, we'll get into that other part later, but the black, it's like I said, black kings and queens, which our women are not queens, they're princesses, but just for the sake, ruled Europe for almost 700 years, when the truth is we ruled it for 1,000 years. And it's it says right here, history confirms that the Moors ruled in Europe, primarily Spain and Portugal, for 1,000 years, not almost 700 years. They were known for their influence in European culture, but not many people know that the Moors. I hate these damn pop-ups. They keep blocking the damn screen. Fuck, I can't stand them. That the Moors were actually Europeans of so-called African descent, in which we're not African, we're not Hamites, we are of the bloodline of Shem. And Moors were usually depicted as being mostly black or very swarthy, meaning dark complexion, and hence the word is often used for Negro. Several written works at the time also confirm that the 16th century English playwrights William Shakespeare used the word Moor as a synonym for African, so-called African, and Christopher Marlowe used Moor and African interchangeably. Okay. In European art, Moors are also often shown with so-called African features, pitch black, frizzled hair, flat and wide faces, flat nose, and thick lips. The Drake jewel and rare documented piece of jewel from the 16th century seem to show a profile of a black king dominating the profile of a white woman. Okay. Moreover, Moors were known to have contributed in areas of mathematics, astronomy, art, cuisine, medicine, and agriculture that helped develop Europe and bring them from the Dark Ages into the Renaissance. Okay, so Jake was contributed to mathematics, astronomy, art, cuisine, medicine, agriculture. That right there tells you that these so-called white people, these Edomites, they are not the superior race. Okay? Jake was the one that developed mathematics, art, cuisine, different foods, delicacies, medicine, and agriculture. Okay, it was Jake that did this. The Edomites just learned it from us, and then they turn around and then, they flip the script and saying that they were the ones who did it first and they taught us how to do it, when that's a complete lie. Okay, and generations of Spanish rulers have allegedly tried to abolish this era from the historical record, but recent archaeology determined that Moors indeed ruled in Al Andalus for more than 700 years, from 711 AD to 1492. Well, like I said, the Renaissance period began somewhere in the 1400s, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, the Renaissance period, that's when the Edomites, because Renaissance means rebirth. So the Renaissance, I believe it began in the year 1434. So 1434, go back 1,000 years. So 434. So Jake has been dominant in the European the Europe territory for 1,000 years. Okay, let me go back up, Salaki, on this. But yeah, and I believe the Spanish occupation, which was basically this. Let's see here. Like I said, Salaki on that. The Renaissance, like I said, began in the 1400s. I think it was 1434, and that's when the Edomites came back into power and started taking over, and that was the fall of Jake and the of that time. Let me get the scripts here. This is going to be, and you also can look up something called before we get to this Dvornik monastery, let's go to icon. Let me type in iconoclasm here. There it is. Iconoclasm. So like it's slow at loading here. So iconoclasm, from Greek icon, or to break, is the social belief and importance of the destruction of icons and other images or monuments, most frequently for religious or political reasons. Well, so-called white supremacy reasons. People who engage in or support iconoclasm are called iconoclasts, a term that has come to be figuratively applied to any individual who challenges cherished beliefs or venerated institutions on the grounds that they are erroneous and pernicious. Okay? Conversely, one who reveres or venerates religious images is called by iconoclast an iconolator. In a Byzantine context, such a person is called an iconodule or iconophile. Iconoclasm does not generally encompass the destruction of the images or a specific ruler after his or her death, or overthrow a practice better known as damnatio memoriae. While iconoclasm may be carried out by an adherents of a different religion, it is more commonly the result of sectarian disputes between factions of the same religion. The term originates from the Byzantine iconoclasm, the struggles between proponents and opponents of religious icons of the Byzantine Empire, which was, as they would say, the Holy Roman Empire, which was the East Roman Empire. That's where Jake had taken over and was ruling. And degrees of iconoclasm vary greatly among religions and their branches, but are strongest in religions which oppose idolatry, including the Abrahamic religions. Outside of the religious context, iconoclasm can refer to movements for widespread destruction, symbols of an ideology or cause, such as the destruction of monarchist symbols during the French Revolution. And the French Revolution, that started in 1789, I believe. But if you, but that's where, if you do your research about the Voronet Monastery, which is in Romania, and you look at the images on some of their walls, inside and out, you could see, you would see that most of those people of high nobility in Europe and royalty were so-called black Negroes, Israelites. But let's go ahead and get the scripts. It's going to be, it's going to be the book of Job, Job chapter 9, verse 24, and it says, "The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he?" Okay. Let's see here. Like I said, the monastery is a medieval monastery in the Romanian village of Voronet, now part of the town of Gura Himarului. It is one of the famous painted monasteries from southern Bukovina in Sasavia County. And it says the monastery was constructed by Stephen the Great in 1488 over a period of 3 months and 3 weeks to commemorate the victory at Battle of Vaslui, often known as the Sistine Chapel of the East. For its vivid frescoes, Voronet walls features intense shade of blue, known in Romania as Voronet blue. But man, let me see if I could find some images or paintings. Let me see if I could find, let's see right here. If it'll show it, because this thing likes to take its time loading, or take me off into somewhere else. Alright, now if you get a closer look, I know it's kind of hard, so just bear with me. But yes, this right here represents the Most High, and the angels, and down here, I know this is, like I said, not the best image, but let me get the script to support it here. This is going to be the book of Revelation. Revelation chapter 20, starting at verse 1. Revelation 20:1, it says, "And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key to the bottomless pit." And what's the bottomless pit? Europe. "And a great chain in his hand." Verse 2, "And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. Okay? So the Lord had the power to put this devil in a hellish condition, captivity. Okay? Verse 3, "And cast him down into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till 1,000 years should be fulfilled." So during that 1,000-year period, where the so-called white people, the Edomites, were put away in the Caucasus Mountains of Georgia, Russia. Excuse me. So for 1,000 years they were brought low, and they were devising and plotting until that time came when, as it says right here, "And after that he must be loosed a little season," and we're in that little season right now. So, okay. So this devil was thrown out of power during the Greco-Roman Empire days, because the Greeks and the Romans, they were both the same nation. They were Edomites. It's just that because Esau Esau's people, they were, you can say, they were divided amongst each other, and they were at war with each other a lot. So eventually the Rome took over from Greek, and and from there, when the Roman Empire fell, that's when Jake took over. And like I said, I apologize because it is kind of hard to see these images, and but these are just like some of these images are examples to show you that and that they have the nerve to that these devils have the nerve to like I said, Church of St. George, and other like I said, other pictures that show you that I mean, you could look at this all up for yourself, but to show you that pictures of not just Negroes but Israelite foreigners as well, and they had a picture of Cesare Borgia on one of these, and it's just rather it's laughable that Esau Edom is just pathetic in how he tries to cover up the truth, and when really you can't hide it. Esau Edom he's not good at hiding anything. He never was good at it. And I'm gonna get that off of there. Anyway, okay, now we're gonna get Revelation chapter 12. Revelation 12 and 12 and 9. Revelation 12 and 9, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels with him were cast out, with him. Okay? Esau Edom. And his angels, his military, his people. So, all his wise men, his scientists, his shaman, or whatever you want to call him, just him and his people all together were cast out, that they would deceive the world no more. And he, during that 1,000-year period, he would eventually come back into power during the Renaissance. Excuse me. And he would deceive the nations again. But in the times that we're living in, these people are starting to wake up and realize that the so-called white man, he's nothing but a devil. He's nothing but a liar, a thief, and he's just a greedy, filthy, disgusting pig. Okay? And then we're going to read a little bit on the Renaissance here. Oh, let me go back up. So you got it wasn't meant to be a long lesson, just kind of going over some light details. So from darkness to light, the Renaissance begins. So yeah, from the Dark Ages when Jake was ruling, to light, because they try to flip the script and say that we're the wicked ones and they're the children of light. Well, that's far from the truth. So from darkness to light, the Renaissance begins. Humanism, the Medici family, the Renaissance geniuses, Renaissance impact on art, architecture, and science, Renaissance exploration, Renaissance religion, and the end of the Renaissance. So, the Renaissance, excuse me, the Renaissance was a fervent period of European culture, artistic, political, and economic rebirth. So, the word political in there, that means it's for a specific agenda and purpose. And as far as culture and artistic and art and all that, this is mainly from Jake. But the political part, yeah, sure, there was political things going on back then during the time of Jake ruling during the Dark Ages, but but this political right here tied him out for so-called white supremacy. Okay, now, rebirth following the Middle Ages, generally described as taking place from the 14th century to the 17th century. The Renaissance promoted the rediscovery of classical philosophy, literature, and art. Some of the greatest thinkers, authors, statesmen, scientists, and artists in human history thrived, thrived during this era, while global exploration opened up new lands and cultures to European commerce. New lands, lands that were, I mean, those aren't new lands because how can you call something new if people were already there? And cultures to European commerce. The Renaissance is credited with bridging the gap between the Middle Ages and the modern day civilization. So, like I said, from darkness to light. The Renaissance begins during from the Middle Ages, a period that took place between the fall of ancient Rome in 476 AD. I'm sure that's not the accurate time, but at the beginning of the 14th century. So Europeans made few advances in science and art, also known as the Dark Ages. This era is often branded as a time of war, ignorance, famine, and pandemics such as the Black Death. And the Black Death was around, excuse me, that time of I think it was 1430. I think it was 1436. I drawing a blank here on that one. Somewhere around that time, I believe it was. Some historians, however, believe that such grim depictions of the Middle Ages were greatly exaggerated, though many agree that there was relatively little regard for ancient Greek and Roman philosophies and learning at the time. Humanism. During the 14th century, a cultural movement called humanism began to gain momentum in Italy. Among its many principles, humanism promoted the idea that man was the center of his own universe, and people should embrace human achievements in education, classical arts, literature, and science. Now I got a precept on that. This is going to be Colossians. Let's see. Colossians chapter 2, verse 8. And it says, "Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Hamashiach." Okay? Philosophy and vain deceits. You know, that humanism promoted the idea that man was the center of his own universe. Okay, for one, the Lord created man. So how can the man be at the center of his own universe here? And that people should embrace human achievements in education, classical art, literature, and science. Okay, this is all talking about that philosophy. In fact, where's the book of Timothy at? Timothy chapter 6, verse 20. 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 20 says, "O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust, avoiding profane and vain babblings and oppositions of science falsely so called." Okay? So that pseudoscience that Edom keeps pushing. In 1450, the invention of the Gutenberg printing press allowed for improved communication through Europe and for ideas to spread more quickly. Okay? But I'm going to tell you this, it was mainly Jake that did a lot of things. You can look up the history of so-called black inventors. And a lot of the things, if it wasn't for the Israelites, America wouldn't have a lot of the stuff that it has now. But of course, Esau Edom takes credit for the work, while it was a so-called Negro, Latino, or Native American or Seminole Indian man that invented whatever it was that they invented. We do the work, they take the credit. That's a bitch move on Esau's part. But like I said, I could read all down through this, but you can look it up on your own time. And of course, a lot of it, of course, here we have the the Medici family here. The Renaissance started in Florence. The Renaissance started in Florence, Italy, a place with a rich cultural history where wealthy citizens could afford to support budding artists. Members of the powerful Medici family, which ruled Florence for more than 60 years, were famous backers of the movement. Great Italian writers, artists, politicians, and others declared that they were participating in an intellectual and artistic revolution that would be much different from what they experienced during the Dark Ages. The movement The movement first expanded to other Italian city-states such as Venice, Milan, Bologna, Ferrara, and Rome. Then during the 15th century, Renaissance ideas spread from Italy to France and then throughout Western and Northern Europe. Although other European countries experienced the Renaissance later than Italy, the impacts were still revolutionary. And here you got Renaissance geniuses. Leonardo da Vinci. You got Desiderius Erasmus, Rene Descartes, Galileo, Nicholas Copernicus, and Nicholas Copernicus is the one that he's the one that made that scientific argument of the concept of a heliocentric solar system where everything revolves around the sun. And that's not the case because the Earth doesn't move. The Earth sits still. We live in a geocentric universe, not a heliocentric. Okay? Geocentric meaning everything revolves around the Earth. Because when you look up in the sky, you see the sun rises from the east and goes down in the west, right? Same thing with the moon. So, and plus, if the Earth was moving, that, like I said, this is all of Esau Edom's cockamamie nonsense here, and I'm surprised. Let's see that they don't have. I'm surprised that they don't have Giorgio Giantricino, who is the father of the letter J, because the letter J didn't come into the alphabet until, it wasn't created till 1524, and then later added to the English alphabet in 1634. I'm surprised his name isn't up here. Like I said, you can look at all these people and all their so-called human achievements. But, yes, excuse me. So yeah, this was just a little bit of history I was going through. I was just watching a video from two elders on the Voronet Monastery, and they went real deep into it. It was very edifying. The name of their page is Job Yasharallah, and they went real deep on that and gave out some very edifying information. You could check them out. Like I said, the name of their the channel is Job Yasharallah. Now we're gonna get another script. This is gonna be First Maccabees. Skipped it. It's gonna be First Maccabees, chapter 3, verse 48. Let me just get there real fast. Okay, let's see here. First Maccabees 3 and 48, and it says, and laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images. So the images, the images were, changed to fit that fit the narrative of these damn Edomites, the so-called white supremacy. Okay, they're the ones that did this. In fact, let me get Job again. It's gonna be Job 13 and 8, 13 and 4. Salagia. Job chapter 13, verse 4, and it says, But ye are forgers of lies, ye are all physicians of no value. And when you look at the word forgers in the blue letter, it goes back um, to smear or to plaster or to cover. So that right there tells you that, like I said in Job 9:24, that he covered the faces of the judges thereof. So he smeared the original true paintings and appearances of the original judges, priests, and kings. Okay, this is going to be the book of Proverbs. Chapter 14. Proverbs 14 and 15, and it says, the simple believeth every word, but the prudent man looketh well to his going. Yeah, because the simple, they'll believe anything that they're told. But the prudent man will look well to his going, which means that the prudent man, the man that has any lick of sense, will do his research and not take people at face value for what they say. If you don't believe what someone says, well, go look up what they said to see if it's actually credible. And that's what we do here. We look things up. We're diligent. We research. That's how you find out. Okay? 2 Timothy 2 and 15. Once again, study to show thyself approved unto the Most High, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. So, part of studying Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai's ways is to look up the true history of what is going on in the world. The truth. Study the truth. Find out what's really going on and how things from back then add up all the way till now. To really understand the history of the Bible, you have to understand the history of what's been going on in this world and link it to the scriptures. That's how you do it. Okay? And now I'm going to get this one script here. This is going to be Luke. It's going to be Luke chapter 8, verse 17. And it says, Luke 8 and 17, and it says, for nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, and neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad. Okay? Which means that nothing is secret. Okay? Nothing is secret, because eventually it's going to be revealed in its time, which is the time now. Yahweh Shem Shai is exposing this devil on all levels. It doesn't matter what he does or how hard he tries, the Lord is going to, the scriptures say that, Babylon, uncover her skirt or something like that, to that effect, just to expose her for all the lies, the atrocities, and the deceit. And this is that, man. Those prophets, like I said, we do our research, make sure that it's credible and valid, and we bring it forth with scripture. Okay? Like I said, there's another thing right here. You can select it for this slow loading speed here. Like I said, you can look at like I said, the Britons, first black aristocrats, and amongst other things, you could also find these painted image of the original kings and princesses, I should say. You could find them all at the. You could not only find them at the Vornet Monastery, but you could also find them at the national. The national. Oh gosh, what is it called? Let me see if I can. I think it's called the. Slovakia. Give me a second here. I think it's called the National. Yeah, the National Portrait Gallery, which is in London. Yeah, it's in London. was one in London. Yep, there it is. And it was, like I said, Jake took all of Europe, Britain, Scotland. And like I said, so the gallery, so the National Portrait Gallery is an art gallery in London that houses a collection of portraits of historically important and famous British people. When it opened in 1856, it was arguably the first national public gallery in the world that was dedicated to portraits. The gallery moved in 1896 to its current site in St. Martin's Place off Trafalgar Square and adjoining to the National Gallery. The NPG, the National Portrait Gallery, also has regional outposts in Benningborough Hall in Yorkshire and Montacute House in Somerset. It is unconnected to the Scottish National Portrait Gallery in Edinburgh, with which its remit overlaps. The gallery is a non-departmental public body sponsored by the Department of Culture, Media, and Sport. And of course, like I said, a lot of these images are probably, I'm sure they got some of the original images, and a lot of them were of course, most likely painted over. So it was established in 1856, 168 years ago. It's in St. Martin's Place, London, and the collection size is over 195,000 portraits. Like I said, and like I said, a lot of these paintings they go back to Jake, but Esau Edom, like I said, he flipped the script. You can also look up the Russian icons, and a lot of those Russian icons are Jake. But with that, I hope that this was an edifying lesson. Like I said, you can look this stuff up on your own. And I make sure I do my part in research. Make sure I make it as edifying as possible for the body and for those that are new, listening and learning with all sincerity. So I like to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakak Kodash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles, the great millstone. Peace and blessing to all Akim that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and sincerity, and unto the men, women, and children that are listening and learning, and unto the Bayat and Davadah, the elect house of David that is scattered abroad, I give you my utmost and sincere salutations. I will see you on the next lesson, Lord willing. Kwam Yasharala, Wa Bababal, Shalom, Barakatham.